that's even how I came across the nervous system training methodology, is because BJ Penn went through this. Everyone can see it under the lights in a controlled environment. It can be tested and you can see the expression, even though we really can't measure it. Well, you can measure it. You can score it. Who wins the fight? That's how the experiment is conducted. And now with Conor McGregor is another vehicle under the lights where you can expose these different expressions of performance and movement and how they integrate. And we can take this as data now. It's not just a sport. We can take this as data to learn from. You go on Instagram, anyone who's listening to this podcast, even Neil, you're going to see Conor McGregor, Foot Valdez. You're going to see everyone's going to be tearing this apart and abstracting it, which what other sport does this? What other sport impacts science like this? None.
And globally, right? And this is one of the reasons I compare the strong angle to MMA so much, is because the strong angle jiu-jitsu is the same in Japan or in Australia or in Peru or in Antarctica or whatever, right? Now you have differences in techniques and all those types of things, but fighting, let's say fighting, right? In general, type of scenario, right? It's a human thing that we're dealing with. And there's not a lot that we do. Dancing would be another one. You see that in cultures, right? We all have dance and music, fighting and this kind of warlike stuff in most cultures, right? Some of it's just a choice of having passivity type of scenarios, right? But the strong angles everywhere. Right. And so that was another thing with this, it being a universal principle, and why, again, even just the blessing in my life that I have somewhat of an interest in combat sports and a wrestling background helped me to understand this better, because it's real world universal application. And those are the things that end up standing for the test of time. Right. And again, to look into culture, I mean, what you were just saying, my brain was just going boom, 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 boom. Right. I don't think people actually appreciate enough how MMA and even just the UFC has changed how we perceive, both strength and conditioning and rehab. It's really changed a lot, because what we were doing in the past didn't really work for these guys. Right. And we could probably do a whole podcast on that. Right. So I'm totally with you. Right. The more that you follow this sport, the more you learn about the human condition.
Yeah, because it requires every quality, hard and soft. You see it all, right? And you can see it abstracted in all these different ways, and you can see the successes and the failures, right? And the number one thing is it produces a lot of money. Like in a capitalist society, innovation starts with money. We're not communists. We can't Joseph Stalin is not going to call us and say, hey, I need you in this lab working with these athletes, or we might have to send the NKVD to your house and arrest you, right? We don't have a system like that. So we need a capitalist incentive. So if it produces money, it's going to produce innovation. That's why I think MMA isn't just the greatest sport on earth. Sorry, soccer fans or footballers. MMA is just better, right? It's because it's going to have so many more demands. You have energy system demands, you have flexibility demands, you have dynamic movement demands, you have strength demands. Unlike, say, soccer, like the demands are far less, right? It's just less expression because of the confines of the sport. MMA, it's free expression, right? It has very little limitations.
And even with that, we're still seeing like all these, people from other countries came to the United States and was like, "Oh, this place is way cooler than we heard about."
I love it.
Right, kind of thing. So you come back to sports. Even Kyle Snyder just competed against Sajalayev, Abdul Rashid Sajalayev for like the fifth or sixth time. Hurt his knee. Snyder wins, but in the kind of the hype up coming into that. Sajalayev was talking about what a good dude Snyder was and how he helped him, and the bond that they've made over the years and whatnot. So coming back to sport and combat sport, right? It may stop at World War III from happening. You got all these people interacting with cultures that they never have before. And you got Chael Sonnen poking at the Brazilians and whatnot, but he lived in Brazil during that UFC time. And I'm sure that he got another, hands-on, first type of experience. firsthand with the Brazilian culture versus living in wherever that mean streets of Oregon or wherever he's from up there, right? You go and visit these other places and you mix with people from other cultures and you learn to appreciate them, that they're just a human being just like us. And I think that that's what's going to, to stop us from looking across the water and going, oh, let's send a bomb over there. But at the
Right.
same time, we know history repeats itself, right? So a lot of times it's not usually for the right reasons. It's usually for some capital reason, right? So
Mhm.
hopefully we can avoid that, and sports can help continue to do their thing to bring peace like that. I really like that position that you just put out there. So it's awesome.
Yeah, yeah, it's been the way to the more sports show up globally with their species, the less war shows up on average. That's usually because there was not athletics was not what it was before World War II, but it definitely got bigger after World War II. I think that's a very pivotal event for the human race to process through. You look at like countries like Dagestan. They literally have wrestling programs that keep their teenage men, their younger men, out of terrorism or out of war and conflict. Right? It's a substitute. It's a substitute to satisfy that part of the human nature. But we basically we basically said everything there is to be said on this one. And I'm starting to feel my brain cells are starting to fry, and I got still got other things I got to get done today. But thank you for jumping on. This is a great one. I feel like we freaking really broke things down. It was a lot of fun. We're gonna do
Yeah,
another
looking
one.
forward to hearing this one.
Yeah, yeah. And we gotta talk. Well, I'll give you a call on the phone. We should probably set up like because you got Paramount Plus, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, man, we got to do like maybe some UFC recaps, especially on this. It's kind of fun to
Oh,
kind of talk. Yeah, and everyone's got questions at the end of these UFC fights. We can give our perspective. So I kind of like how it's a good lineup with everything. We're just in the strong angle. I just don't know what to tell you guys. It's just crazy. It is what it is. But like, comment, subscribe, follow Dr. Lanil. His Instagram will be linked in the bottom of the description. Follow myself, get his book. Try out my training, try the nervous system training, get an appointment on the up squat, do all these things to help yourself, and we will see you guys on another episode.